to get, as you can see, my eyebrow starts way too far in. So to get it even on both sides, I just use the outside of my nostril, and I already made a mark right there, and that's where I am going to start. And then I don't really make a mark where the arch is going to be. I just kind of do it for reference. You look straight into the mirror, and then on the outside of your what do you call that, the colored part of your eye, that's where your arch is gonna be. And then for your tail, you go like this on the outside of your nostril, and then touch the outside of your eye, and then that is where your tail should be. That way it's easier and you can kind of get them symmetrical. So once I have my dots, for references, I do, and forgive me, this is going to take a little bit longer than normal because I'm not used to using this little mirror in front of my camera, and I'm not trying to get too much in your face, but in order to show you what I'm doing, I have to do that. Is my dot, and then I want to draw, okay, my bottom line. And I try to do that in one, like that bottom line right here, like the arch, in one swoop, and it never is straight. I never get it straight the first time, and that's okay because I go through when I'm done with my concealer and I carve it out to make it look a little bit nicer and more clean. But just to get the gist of it, that's what I do. And then I make sure it kind of looks the same on both sides. Once I have the bottom, and I'm fairly happy with it, I then do the top, and you can kind of see, I don't know if everyone's like this, but you can see it like kind of sticks out my skin. So I use that as like a reference on drawing, and I start this line a little bit in. Follow it. Okay, it's a lot harder to do, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot harder to do when one side is already done. I do not recommend that. Okay, so once I am done making the shape, I literally, and as you can see, I don't have any hair whatsoever, it's crazy. I go through and I literally am just filling in the shape with this pencil, which is why I ran out of the pencil side of the Urban Decay brow blade, which has two sides. If you didn't know, it has a pencil side and then like the brush side, I want to say, like the ink brush side. And since this Il Makiage pencil is a little bit different than the other one, you can see it got darker. You can see where my brow is, and it actually like cemented my hairs to my face, so I actually won't need my brow gel, which I usually use the Gimme Brow that's tinted a little bit. But this one seems to be doing a good job laying them flat. Okay, so now that we have the shape, and it is uneven a little bit, like I said, it's fine. We're gonna go through and we're gonna fix that. And I am, sorry, I'm just checking myself out in the bigger mirror. Okay, there, just a little bit more. Because we fill that in, so that's gonna give it that filled in look after we draw in our hairs, which you can't, there. This is the brow blade by Urban Decay. Again, this camera just sucks. So my mine's almost gone. I actually have another one on the way. So now that I have this, and since mine's almost gone, what it likes to do, it dries out, obviously. I draw on the top of my hand to get it going a little bit. And typically people start on the front, but I don't do that, actually. I start right here. And I just start to do little lines. And I actually make this first layer like really dark. And then I go over it with a spoolie. And then I do it again, but not as much. And that's what gives it that like definition of it looking like real hair. Okay, so now we're like to the front of it. And I do like these big ones first. And I always do like a squint to make sure they start, even though I do that little trick with the nostrils. Sometimes I feel like they're not even. Not sure. See how that looks in a second. I feel like I might have made the shape of that a little weird, but it's okay. This happens almost 9 times out of 10. And if it doesn't happen for you guys, you're very lucky. I just feel like when you're drawing your brows on, you're more apt to make more mistakes than if you're just filling them in. There's just a lot more precision in this. So, and when I did that, I did not do the front like little tips. I just did the parts where I colored with the pencil, because you don't want to smear those lines you just made. So what I did is I lightened it up a little bit, and now I'm going to go through the second round of little lines. I'm not going to do as much, just a little bit to give it that definition, and then we will shape the bottom. Okay, God, I'm really bummed that it doesn't zoom in. Okay, so now I'm going to take the concealer on the back of my hand, which I'm using this one. I got it in an Ipsy, and I mean, I used most of it, so I don't know. It's okay. Not my favorite. But I put this on the back of my hand. And oh, you know what? Yeah, and then we're gonna shape these. Now I'm trying to decide if that's the shape I want to keep it. So if I do, I have to go back over here and kind of bring it in a little bit more. So what I think I'm gonna have to do, because I don't want to make this one any thinner, I kind of like how that one's looking for the eye look that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna come back and fill in this one just a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Now I'm just gonna go under it one more time. Okay. And they look pretty center. And I think the arches are pretty close. I'm pretty impressed. It did take a lot longer than normal to do them because of this little mirror that I have, but I was happy to record it, and hopefully this helped you a little bit.